Maya, it is such an honor to have you on my show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Where are you right now?
I'm in New York City.
Oh, you are. Okay. Is that where you live now?
No, I live very hidden and actually on the countryside of Nazaré, believe it or
Oh,
not,
you
in
do?
Portugal. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So are you in town to promote what are you doing in New York?
I started off my trip doing board meeting for Oceana, which is an NGO that I sit on the board that works on ocean conservation. And then I had the lovely premiere of Mind the Wave. And now I'm just trying to rest a bit, write and do meetings and feel the city.
Great. Your your story is so unbelievable. I'm so excited that Maya and the Wave is out. It is like it makes you feel in awe of just watching your life story, but it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you feel so proud. It gives you chills throughout. Even the trailer, like, just brings you, your body feels the emotion of it. You know what I mean? So I want to get into what that was like to make it, but I want to hear about your life. So can you just tell me how did you even get into surfing?
I got into surfing when I was 13 or 14 years old in Rio. I was a dancer when I was very young and I loved dancing very, very much. I was passionate and super, super dedicated. But when I was around 11 or 12, I suddenly quit and I went for a little while without a sport and I really needed a sport. Um,
Mhm.
I was meant to be an athlete. And then surfing appeared in my life through a boyfriend at the time and friends. And I just tapped into the energy of being free, and in the ocean. I loved the environment
Mhm.
and I was very scared. So it was a good goal to work towards.
Right. So, but there are a couple elements of it, right? And explain maybe surfing to people that haven't done it. I have done it maybe once and I'm terrible at it. I'm too scared of the water. But also, there's a balance that takes,
Yes.
you have to really understand it. So explain what you have to be good at to be good at this sport.
Yes, I think it's a complex sport because we deal with nature,
Yeah.
and the ocean is always moving, changing. So I think it really implies some ocean knowledge and reading and timing that you only really acquire with experience out there.
Mhm.
And then the other side is you're standing up on a surfboard. So you need to have good balance.
Mhm.
And to me also is a sport that demands style. So I think that I was able to tap into a little bit through my dancing experience
Mhm.
and my balance too. I think dancers, have great balance and have great understanding of their bodies and how it works and how they move and what happens. And I think that helped me with surfing.
So, I know that you ended up moving to Hawaii when you were around 17. Do I have that correct? So,
Uh-huh.
did you do that because you knew that you wanted to have a path to basically surf and to figure out if this was something you could do for a living?
Exactly. Yes, totally. I was passionate about surfing. I wanted to leave Brazil. I had that in my mind, like very clear. And I loved the English language. I grew up as a bilingual, but I had German as a second language, and I was
Oh,
really
wow.
passionate about English. And Hawaii was just kind of like, it kind of fell into my life. I really actually wanted to go back to Australia, which I had gone when I was 15 to study. But Hawaii was a cheaper ticket, believe it
Mm,
or not. And I had a layover in Hawaii of 3 months, and that's how I got to experience the North Shore. And that was the like strongest professional competitive surf culture that I had ever seen until then.
mhm.
I had experienced Australia, which was very surf culture, multi-generational kind of surfing culture. But in Hawaii and on the North Shore specifically, I was able to understand what professional surfing meant.
Right. And what does professional surfing mean? I mean, you see all these people that are out there kind of sitting around waiting for waves, but explain the difference. How do you really know that it's professional surfing and that's what you want to get into?
Well, you're just so dedicated. It's about dedication, it's about love, it's about not having quite, the normal life of a 17-year-old girl. You don't go out, you wake up really early, you train all day, you have to travel a lot after that if you really want to make it professional. So there's a lot of demands, and you have to learn how to read the ocean really well because different than other sports. We're not in the same ramp as every competitor. The
Right.
wave that we surf is unique. So you have to be able to kind of tap into reading the wave and knowing what is going to happen once you catch it, if that's going to be a special wave. And
Right.
also you have to have the timing right. You have to be in the right place at the right time. So it's very complex.
So how do you even like practice for something like this? I mean, there's got to be so many times you don't get it right, but not getting right is just not like falling off a balance beam. I mean, you could get injured or killed every time you don't get it right. So like, how do you learn while staying safe?
Well, the big waves, yes, you can get very injured and you could face life-threatening situations. But I didn't start on that level, right? So I kept like kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone to get to where I wanted and envisioned my surfing to go to. So it took a long time. But it was about like being uncomfortable, sometimes going out there and not going out there for performance, just for experience and to see what people were doing and see what you could learn from it. It kept me humble.
Right.
Because, as an athlete, you want to go out there and you want to perform and you want to, always kill it and come back with like great results. And big wave surfing, when you're kind of like studying on the path, it's not about that. It's about being humble and accepting that you're learning every day. And a lot of times you don't get results.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting. You mentioned a couple of times that you were scared when you were younger, and sometimes you're scared. How do you differentiate between healthy fear that keeps you safe and the kind of fear that could hold you back?
It is difficult. I like fear. I think there is, and it's hard. I wouldn't know how to describe it in words exactly, but there is a fear that stops you. And that fear is healthy, because that fear shows you your limits at that point. Doesn't mean that will be your limits forever, but it's a fear that kind of like makes you not want to go, like really not want to go. And that is like an insight that is important, because if you are in life-threatening conditions, you have to accept your instincts when they go in that direction, because that saved your life.
Yeah.
But then there's another, kind of fear that wants to stop you, but you have the tools. You've trained for it. You have what it takes. And that one you push through. So I wouldn't be able to put in words like what clicks to what is one, what is another, but they're different experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you explain? I mean, I don't know if it's easy to explain, but to people that are listening that might not have the experience at all that you have, even the amateur experience of surfing, what is the addiction kind of to riding on this wave? I mean, we've watched this on the screen before and it looks so scary and so beyond anything that the average person would try. Being in that, can you explain what it's like from the moment you're waiting for the wave, seeing it come? Like, explain the whole process.
Well, you're waiting, you're in the ocean. There's no better place to be. You feel free, society is behind you on land. So that's a wonderful feeling. And you're waiting, you're practicing patience, which is not something we practice often. And when you see the wave, you have to really switch on and decide that you want it and you want to go. And then you use your physicality, of course, to paddle and paddle fast and catch the wave. And when you're surfing it, then you tap into being present, which I think that is the pure beauty of it, right? You're not thinking about the past. You're not tuning into the future. You're having to adapt and adjust and use your body and your mind together to be so connected in that present moment that makes it very addictive.
Right. Wow. And when you're actually in it, do you feel any fear or that's like escaped your mind?
No. Once you're on it, you're usually not tapping into fear anymore. It would be dangerous to go there. You got to be brave. Once you decided to go, you have to you have to be brave.